Have you ever felt the warmth slowly draining from your home? Not physical warmth, but that unseen essence that makes it a sanctuary, a place of peace. Perhaps sudden bursts of anger, unexplainable apathy, or dreams that leave you waking in a cold sweat. You search for reasons in the mundane, but the truth might lie much deeper, in a misstep made unknowingly. Holy items aren't just objects. They are portals, anchors of light in this world's turbulent sea. But just as a lighthouse loses its beam if obstructed, so too can sacred items be silenced if placed where they don't belong. Padre Pio, a saint whose eyes saw through the veil of our world, warned repeatedly, spiritual items need spiritual air. Otherwise they suffocate, and darkness finds an opening. Many of us, in our haste or ignorance, make a mistake capable of opening doors to undesirable influences. We treat the Rosary, this powerful weapon of prayer, a gift from the Blessed Mother herself, as a mere accessory, thoughtlessly tossing it next to items whose spiritual resonance is utterly contradictory. Padre Pio saw clearly: never place your Rosary where chaos, distraction, or ego reign. This isn't just messages, it's a spiritual contradiction. The Rosary symbolizes humility, purity, and detachment from the worldly. But when it finds itself beside items that shout of vanity, superstition, or immersion in the chaos of the material world, be it piles of old receipts, forgotten plastic cards, lucky charms from occult shops, or even just in a cluttered drawer full of junk, its power wanes. It becomes spiritually muted. The problem isn't that the Rosary loses its blessing. No, the problem is the atmosphere. Imagine a delicate candle flame. If you surround it with dirt, dust, distracting objects, it won't extinguish immediately, but its light will become dim, wavering. The grace the Rosary carries is just as sensitive. It needs a clear space. Padre Pio warned. Demonic influence thrives in ambiguity. When the sacred and the profane mix, confusion enters. And where there is confusion, prayer loses its clarity and power. The Rosary, this channel to heaven, begins to whisper, not speak. It becomes just beads, one more item, losing its true purpose. It blends with whatever pulls the soul away from God instead of towards Him. This is not superstition. This is spiritual order. And when this order is broken, so too is the connection between the sacred and the soul. But there is a way to restore this order. Padre Pio taught that the first step is simple, yet profoundly important. Remove your Rosary from any area that contains objects tied to vanity, pride, superstition, or impurity. This includes astrological symbols, dream catchers, fashion jewelry, old unused gadgets, or media that promotes values contrary to the gospel. The presence of the Rosary must not be diluted by such association. Then, give it a new place. A space that communicates reverence and peace. This could be a small prayer corner, a knit stand near a Bible, a shelf with a crucifix or icon. Even just a folded linen cloth and a single candle can transform an ordinary spot into holy ground. The goal is not extravagance, but intentionality. A clean and quiet place dedicated to reflection allows the Rosary to reclaim its purpose as a vessel of prayer and protection. Padre Pio also encouraged the faithful to re-establish their connection with the Rosary through touch and daily presence. Even when time doesn't allow for a full recitation, the simple act of holding the Rosary, carrying it close, or offering a Hail Mary throughout the day reawakens the spiritual bond. The Rosary isn't meant to rest untouched. It should be part of one's physical and spiritual rhythm. Let it be visible. Let it interrupt daily routine with reminders of heaven. Grace flows where the soul is awake and engaged. In cases where the Rosary has been long neglected or misused, a simple act of rededication can restore its spiritual atmosphere. One may hold it while praying a blessing, place it before a candle, or sprinkle it with holy water as a sign of renewal. This isn't about re-blessing the object, but about reorienting the heart. It is the interior disposition that breathes new life into sacramentals. The Rosary responds to reverence. It does. Not demand perfection, only sincerity. Finally, the faithful are called to guard the environment around the Rosary, just as one would protect a sacred space in a church. The same care must be extended to the sacred space within the home. The objects near the Rosary should reflect the values of faith, humility, purity, and devotion. A small crucifix, a holy image, or even a handwritten prayer can serve as companions to this sacred tool. When the Rosary is honored, it becomes active. When the space is spiritually clean, grace flows without resistance. Padre Pio knew that small external choices lead to deep internal transformation. And where the Rosary lives, heaven begins to dwell. Now is the time to look around and ask a simple but serious question. Where does your Rosary live? Not just physically, but spiritually. What is surrounding it? What is it resting beside? These small choices reveal something much deeper than organization or habit. They reveal the priorities of the soul. Padre Pio never underestimated the power of environment. He understood that grace enters where it is welcomed, where it is protected, where it is given space to breathe. A Rosary placed with reverence becomes an invitation for heaven to dwell. A Rosary buried in clutter, distraction, or impurity becomes silent. It still holds its blessing, but the connection grows cold. The faithful must not treat the Rosary as just another item among many. It is not a lucky charm or an accessory. It is a sign of battle, a rope to heaven, a gift from the Blessed Mother herself. And like any precious gift, it must be cherished, displayed with dignity, and used with devotion. That begins with removing what doesn't belong, objects that carry false spirituality, pride, vanity, or confusion. It continues by choosing a place of honor, even if small, even if humble, a corner with light, with quiet, with prayer, but it does not end there. The Rosary must become part of the daily rhythm again. Not just seen, but held. Not just remembered, but used. Padre Pio held his Rosary with love because he knew it was alive with power. But that power was not automatic. It responded to faith, to reverence, to purity of heart. The same must be true in every home. Every believer has the ability to transform a space into a sanctuary. All it takes is the courage to clean, to separate, to set apart what belongs to God. And so, with sincerity and urgency, every soul is invited to take this step. Find the Rosary, lift it from where it has been resting, and place it somewhere better. And then, not just from the lips, but from the heart, speak a prayer of renewal. Let the Blessed Mother know that her gift has not been forgotten, that her weapon is still drawn, that her child still fights in light. Holy Mother, I remove from this place all that dims your presence. Let my home reflect your purity. Let my Rosary rest near light, near silence, near love. May the space around it be worthy of the grace it carries, and may my soul never again forget what it holds. This is not a small act. It is the first step in restoring order to the soul. Padre Pio warned out of love, because he saw what happens when we let the sacred fall into shadow. But he also saw what happens when we lift it back into the light. Grace returns, peace enters, and heaven draws near. If this message has touched you, if you felt this call deep within, then know you are not alone. Share this video with those who might be unknowingly making this mistake, who are seeking clarity and protection. Let this warning from Padre Pio resonate with more souls. And if you haven't yet, subscribe and turn on notifications. We will continue to reveal true knowledge that can help you protect your spirit and your home in this world full of unseen influences.